In 1807, maverick Cornish chemist Humphry Davy attempted something no one had dared try before. He harnessed a newly discovered force, electricity, to rip apart a caustic chemical called potash. And he discovered a new element. Vivid, violent potassium. Davy had found a new way of cracking open the natural world to reveal its building blocks. This is the story of one of the biggest questions there is. What is everything in our world made of? The quest to find out would ultimately lead to an extraordinary insight, that everything from the diversity of nature to the complexity of man was made from just 92 elements. I'm Jim Al-Khalili, and I've studied physics all my life, but I couldn't have gained my knowledge of the subatomic world without the work of the chemists who first unraveled the mysteries of matter.
Brilliant, that was really beautiful.
Finding and understanding the elements would turn out to be one of the greatest detective stories in the history of science. A staggeringly difficult task that would span centuries. I'm going to retrace the steps of the chemists who risked their lives to prize secrets from the natural world.
Instantly disfiguring, instant blindness, it's really hideously dangerous.
I'll find out how scientists struggled to crack one of the most important codes in the universe. And I'll discover how our fascination with the elements led to the making of the modern world and pushed the human race to the edge of destruction. Our compulsion to seek answers at almost any cost and to search for fundamental truths has powered scientific endeavor. And it underpins this story, our quest to unravel the mysteries of the elements. It's hard to imagine what it must have been like to look around and not have a clue what the world is made of. Not to know what this contained, to be mystified by fire, to have no idea that oxygen is essential to make it burn, or that oxygen even existed. Not to know that hydrogen is a vital ingredient of the ocean, or that sodium and chlorine combine to give it salty taste. It's only in the last 200 years that we've known what an element is. It's a substance that can't be broken down into a simpler one by a chemical reaction. The ancient Greeks already knew of lead, copper, gold, silver, iron, mercury, tin, but to them, these were just metals. They were convinced that the whole world was made of earth, air, fire, and water. For more than 1,000 years, we had no way of breaking open the natural world, and no choice but to base our concept of elements on what was visible around us. By the 16th century, things were starting to change. Alchemists began to penetrate the substances around them in their bid to turn base metals into gold. They kept secret notes of their experiments, written in mysterious codes and symbols, and they dreamed of immortality. From the Far East through Europe to London, the back streets and cellars were a seething, bubbling hotbed of alchemical research. It was an alchemist who first challenged the Greek idea that everything was made from earth, fire, air, and water, in a story which begins in Basel, Switzerland. It starts with Philippus Theophrastus Areolus Bombastus von Hohenheim, who, thankfully for me, because I'm not saying that again, adopted the nom de plume Paracelsus. Paracelsus was not just an alchemist trying to unlock the mysteries of matter. He was also a physician and surgeon, and he wasn't afraid to challenge the orthodoxy of the day. In 1526, the city of Basel was famous for its printing, and its most sought-after printer, Frobenius, had just been told by his doctors that unless he had his leg amputated, he would die. So Frobenius called for Paracelsus, who wouldn't accept the medical orthodoxy of the day. He also wasn't afraid to mix medicine with alchemy, to concoct new potions and remedies. He created a cure that not only saved Frobenius's life, but established Paracelsus as a true radical. He proposed a groundbreaking new idea, suggesting that the world was actually made of 3 elements: salt, sulfur, and mercury. Paracelsus saw these as the core ingredients to make metals and medicines. He reckoned salts would heal wounds. Sulfur was combustible, and mercury, known then as quicksilver, was fluid and volatile.